is the Apparelist podcast, designed to bring you real-life conversation about high-level topics relevant to the decorated apparel community. Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for yet another in-depth and exciting video interview from Apparelist. Today, we are joining Robert Hake. He is the founder of MOQ1. Robert's experience in the industry runs the gamut of cut and sew experience and screen printing to now operating on the technology side of things. Robert, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I am really excited to talk to you. We actually met through Dave Laskuski, who is the president of Printing United Alliance, and through our conversations, we've actually gotten to get a little bit of glimpse into what you guys are working on, and it's pretty exciting. So just kind of walking through your story today, how did you get started in the apparel decoration industry?
Well, geez, that takes me back about 25 years ago. I was in my final year of college. I was doing an independent study on polar fleece. It was a new material at the time, and I was really fascinated by it. It was so soft and fluffy and warm. So I had all these fleece swatches around my house, and one day I had a friend that was in the promotional products business ask me if I could help her source 500 fleece blankets. So I went and found a local cut and sew shop in Roseville, Michigan, that could make them. And, inside their shop, they had many different products in their facility that they were making, the main one being pizza delivery bags. So there was a ton of vinyl in all different colors throughout the shop, which sparked the idea is, what if I combined the fleece with the vinyl and made a blanket out of that? So we made some samples, and I fell in love with the product, ended up creating a business plan, and started selling them to high school booster clubs. We were screen printing the logo on the vinyl side, so it would pop off everyone's back when someone wore it in the stands. And it worked out really well. We started selling a ton of blankets, and as the demand grew, I got tired of kind of running around, going to the cut and sew shop, picking up the blankets, taking them to the local screen printer, then picking them up and taking them to the UPS hub to ship them. So I ended up renting some space. I bought a manual press. It was a 4-color, 4-station press. Rented a 2,000 square foot building and started screen printing. That's how it all started.
I love it. I find it so fascinating. You sort of started on the blank side and then moved into the decoration side. A lot of times we see people starting on the decoration side. Regardless, very cool, very neat. I love that you found your way to the apparel decorating industry. And now you have built several companies that serve different parts of the industry. So can you kind of walk us through those and how they're different?
Yeah, it's been an evolution since starting. The blanket business, it taught me how hard inventory management was for the booster clubs that we were selling them to. They'd order too much, they'd get stuck with a ton of extras, or they'd run out. They'd miss a sales window, and hey, we got a game this Friday. We need them, we need them in 2 days. So in seeing that, I thought, wow, what if I was able to create an online store and ship unit of one with on-demand fulfillment? It would take the inventory out of their hands. So I chased down that concept, and in 2006, this is probably 8 years after I started the blankets, launched Spirit Shop, which was exactly that. It was online school stores with on-demand fulfillment. It worked great. What I found interesting, though, was the schools didn't end up, these booster clubs, they didn't end up replacing their traditional inventory process with our school stores like I thought they would. Instead, they use our stores as a method to expand their product offering and bring in extra fundraising revenue. So many schools would take the wholesale product that they had purchased from their local screen printer, the t-shirts, the sweatshirts, and then they would sticker them or tag them with a link to the online shop that we had created for them. And it ended up working out great. They were able to offer more product that they weren't able to put at their tables to sell it, more design options, and really expand their offering out. So they thought of it as an incremental way to drive more spirit within the school, which turned out great. So we continued down that path of selling that product into the schools for about 8 years or so. And all the while, we're really focused on heavily improving the on-demand side of the business and expanding the product offering, improving our turn times, and just creating more automation to be able to just provide a better back-end service on demand. So that is around 2014. I saw Teespring rise, and I'm sure everyone's familiar with that model, but it was, online sellers launching short-term storefronts with really what was a limited product option. I think at the time, Teespring had 4 different products you could choose from. It was a t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt, a hoodie, and a crew neck sweatshirt. So the sellers would launch their campaign. It would run for several weeks. The sale would end, the shop would go down. Then Teespring would gang everything up, screen print it, and ship it to the purchasers. And it was a great model, got a lot of great media attention. But as I was looking at their social media, there's a lot of customer complaints, and it was really mainly around delivery time. If you order in the beginning of the sale, you might be waiting 6 to 8 weeks for your t-shirt to arrive. And so I was looking at the model, I was intrigued by it, similar to what we were doing, but different. And I was looking at our catalog. I was like, wow, here we've got a much larger product catalog and a much faster turnaround time. And, what could we do with this? And so shortly thereafter, Shopify started showing up on the TVs and on the commercials. And then we started seeing quite a large migration of large Teespring sellers over to the Shopify platform to host their storefronts. And then we thought, wow, what if we could create an app for Shopify so those large sellers could access our catalog and our low run, fast turn on demand fulfillment. So that's when Custom Cat started, which was a Shopify app that did exactly that. It gave sellers access to our catalog and our print on demand fulfillment. And it also enabled the sellers to be able to run their stores, 365, 24/7 versus popping it up and taking it down, ganging it up and screen printing it. And so, with the deep product offering we had and the faster delivery, it took off very quickly. And we got a lot of large sellers on the Custom Cat platform, and the business started growing even quicker. So we learned a lot, really more about scale, about coming in one day and having, 5,000 orders, and coming in the next day and having 20,000 orders, and how to handle that. And so, we spent years further developing, the software side of our business, really on the production side more than anything, and the ability to scale up staffing and the ability to really hold and maintain a true 2-day, 3-day SLA with all of the variants and orders coming in. And so we were doing that, and we really started looking into the Shopify platform and the app we had created for it, and saw some limitations on Shopify side. You could only have one store per account. There was a monthly fee you had to pay for it, and you had to be somewhat tech savvy of an individual to be able to build a store. And so looking at that and then looking at what we had done on Spirit Shop, it was like, wait a minute. What if we could take our platform, Spirit Shop, white label it, so promo dealers and decorators could have their own access under their own brand to our front end, and then have that be connected to our fulfillment system. Thought was, well, then they could have unlimited storefronts. They could create them very quickly and easily and have access to the full catalog. So we ended up really started that project 3 years ago, and we launched it maybe 6 months, 7 months ago. And that is what MOQ1 is. It's a B2B platform where decorators and dealers can spin up unlimited storefronts under their brand using our technology and fulfillment system. But yeah, fast forward to today, our catalog has over 10,000 SKUs, 4 decoration methods, and a consolidation system that ships everything together in the same package within about 1 to 2 business days.
Achieve color consistency, efficiency, and precision with G7 Plus certification, the industry's gold standard for color management. Whether you're in packaging, commercial print, or digital production, G7 Plus ensures neutral gray balance and visual consistency across all applications, helping you reduce waste and improve quality. And getting certified has never been easier. Choose from live in-person training for hands-on experience, live online training for real-time learning from anywhere, or on-demand training for flexible, self-paced education. No matter your schedule, there's a G7 Plus certification option for you. Printing United Alliance members save 20% on all courses and certifications. Stay ahead of the curve, view training options, and get certified at printing.org/G7 Plus.
So that's where we're at today.
Wow. What a story. And that is exactly why we wanted to do this interview today, because it's very clear that you guys have followed the evolution of the industry by paying attention to trends, staying on top of them, identifying these white spaces, and finding a way to fill those needs, right? So that's really kind of a shining example of, being successful in the apparel decorating industry, which actually, begs the question, what trends are you currently seeing unfold in the industry? And, what are customers asking for these days?
So at the highest level, I see the Amazon effect happening. And I don't think it's just within this industry. I think it's everywhere, right? Customers now want and somewhat expect fast delivery, low minimums, and in our world, high quality prints. And the only way to be able to serve up all of the combination of all those things clients are looking for, it's to digitally print. And the challenge with that is it's not perfect. We spent nearly 15 years trying to master direct-to-garment printing and just couldn't achieve consistent quality across all the fabric types. We tried every machine, every rip, every pre-treatment solution, and nothing would produce consistent results. And furthermore, it just doesn't hold up, in wash as well as screen printing. So it's a challenge to be able to put low run, fast turn together with quality in today's environment. And plus the process has really just been limited to decorating cotton. I've seen a shift recently, like I'm sure everyone else has with DTF, which I believe has improved many of the shortcomings of DTG. But, I still see some drawbacks with it, like the hand feel. Some designs with halftones are pretty difficult to replicate real well. And, I'd say the workflow beyond printing the film can be challenging with getting the right positioning and scaling and sizing of the images. So while it's a step in the right direction, I still see some challenges with it.
Yeah. I obviously DTF printing is all the rage right now. You're right. It does fulfill a lot of, pain points, still has a long way to go. And I think that pretty much all, if not the majority of your peers would agree with you. And so, that's really fascinating to hear you talk about decorating techniques. Which does lead me to something that's very fascinating about something you guys do. You have sort of this unique decorating method that piques my curiosity. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the best way to describe it is it's a hybrid between DTG and DTF. I can tell you it's taken us about 4 years and thousands of iterations to try to get to it, but it kind of combines both technologies into a new solution. It provides the opacity, the color, and the color consistency on top of a variety of different garments that a DTF process does, and then we've been really able to soften the hand of it, so it is much more of a more screen printed type hand that we're able to serve up on it. So it's we just launched it maybe about 1.5 years ago, and it's just been incredible for our business.
That's great. And that actually, so this is so crazy because everything that you're talking about is tying in perfectly with some of the thought processes that we're having in the industry, the trends we're observing. And you did start to talk about this a little bit, some of the challenges and pain points that decorators are facing. Is there a perfect decorating technology? Everybody wants a silver bullet. Probably not going to get one. That's fine. However, there are some kind of other challenges that are related to these trends, related to the having to do fast turnaround and things like that. Do you mind elaborating a little bit more on some of the challenges that the industry is facing?
So as you talk, I mean, our business is low run, on demand, fast turn, and it's a very different business than traditional screen printing. Having gone through this transition for it's over 20 years now, it becomes more of a software game. There's other considerations that to be able to provide fulfillment to a full catalog online store, with fast turn and consistent quality. There's ordering systems for blank replenishment automation. There's receiving processes that we've had to really dial in to automate. There's, ASRS, robotic picking that we've had to implement into our facility for accuracy and speed. So just on ordering and receiving product, there was a ton of work that we had to do. And going downstream, it's the shipping side of it. It's not only the printing, it's just all of the workflow from the beginning to the end, doing that on scale at one piece. It really turns the business into a software business, if you want to be able to scale it. So there's many different components that require a lot of unique, approaches to be able to scale on demand decorating. As I look at our business, it's required a substantial investment. And in the software system that we've been building internally, I mean, I don't know if we've changed it 100 or 200 times, but it's been a constant evolution. It's become very sophisticated, and to really dial it in and keep reliability, you got to fine tune the whole thing. So I think screen printing is always going to be around. There's always the need for that. But I can say trying to transition from screen printing into this on-demand world, it's almost an entirely different business.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can just envision it. So many of the listeners are nodding their heads along with you right now because again, it's a trend we are observing and these are challenges we are observing. It sounds like there are some real, viable options that you guys are working on alongside others in the industry. Robert, much as I would love to stay and talk some more, I know we need to, wrap up this interview. But before we do that, because I do know a lot of people listening probably want to connect with you and learn more, how can they do that?
Are you looking for my contact information or, our website that we've built for the promo world and the decorators is moq1.com. So you can access everything about what we're doing there. There's some videos there and different things that illustrate some of the automation we've created in the shop. So that's one way to connect. If you're, Cassie, are you saying connect directly with me? Is that what you were asking?
Sure. Connect directly with you. Maybe like LinkedIn if LinkedIn is your preferred.
LinkedIn, my email is robert@moq1.com. If anyone wants to email me, feel free. And connect on LinkedIn and happy to help or talk or whatever you're looking to do.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And thank you for taking the time today to share your story. Because not only does your story, carry a lot of creativity and interesting points, but it's also helping a lot of other listeners out there. So Robert, thank you so much for joining us for this Apparelist interview.
Thank you so much too. Have a great rest of your day.